What's up, guys? Welcome to Knocks Out Comics, where I talk all things comics and manga. I'm Jay, and today I'm covering Volume 3 of Grimm Fairy Tales. We're introduced to a girl named Jenna, who's being physically abused by her boyfriend, Drew. After a fight over Drew suspecting that Jenna's flirting with her co-worker, Steve, Jenna runs off and sits on a park bench to think. Making her world-famous entrance, Sella asks Jenna if she's alright, and we learn that Jenna is one of Sella's students. After Jenna tells Sella about her situation, Sella tells her to read The Beauty and the Beast. After a little hesitation, Jenna begins to read. It tells the story of a selfish prince that used the people around him and treated the women in his life as expendable, until a woman arrives and curses him with showing the world his true appearance inside, which would be made permanent if all the flowers fall from a single rose before he could find someone to love him. He decides he must change his ways and later finds a young woman, Jezebel, injured in the woods and nurses her back to health. But once she tells him that she has to return to her fiancé, he gets enraged and forces her to stay as his captive. We then shift back to Jenna as she takes a break from reading. Steve shows interest in her and she tells him she'll think about it. But then she gets a text from Drew apologizing and she continues reading. As it cuts back to the fairy tale, it shows Jezebel's rescuers, one of which is her cousin who's killed by the beast, but also her fiancé who saves her. We cut back to Jenna as she's so caught up with reading that she loses track of time, and when Steve comments on this, Drew shows up. He gets into an argument with them and Jenna breaks up with him, and after more arguing, the manager of the restaurant they're in tells Drew that he has to leave. He complies but says it's not over, that he and Jenna are together forever. The next issue continues with us seeing Drew in his room holding a gun. He hears his father hitting his mother, and we learn that Drew's present actions are a result of the abuse he suffered early in life, where he learned that violence was a means to solving his problems. After Drew gets into an argument with his father, he finds Sella's fairy tale book, but doesn't read it. Cutting back to the fairy tale, the woman responsible for the curse returns and shows the beast the rose and informs him that it's not yet too late to reform and to stop regarding Jezebel as a possession. He ignores her, refusing to take responsibilities for his actions, and seeks out his revenge. As he attacks the stronghold where Jezebel is being kept, he fights through an assortment of soldiers and eventually is successful at killing Jezebel's fiancé. She runs to the top of the castle wall, but chooses suicide over being with the monster. We cut back to Drew as he spots Jenna and Steve. Drew threatens them before attacking Steve, but Jenna is able to reason with him enough to get his attention. He declares his love for her and tells her that he can't end up like his father, before shooting and killing himself. The story ends with Sella alone, saying that this wasn't supposed to happen. Drew was supposed to make the right choice. Then she goes on to question why she should even bother if the people she tries to help don't value their own lives. We later meet three friends, Brian, Mike, and Teddy. Teddy tells them that they have a problem. They're out of money. And if you can't tell by the swastika tattoo, these guys are not good guys. Brian says they had $600 from an old lady that they robbed earlier, and Mike adds that they had $2,000 left from old scores. They plan to rob a store, and thank God Sella shows up. She asks Brian why he hasn't been in class and why he's hanging out with losers. They're about to attack her, but she uses her powers, turning them into the three little pigs and sending them into her fairy tale book. In this modified version of the story, Sella examines all the boys' misdeeds. As in the fairy tale, the first two houses are made of straw and wood, and the wolf, who represents their punishment, easily captures Teddy and Mike. But Brian, the one Sella hopes to save, is in the brick house. She thinks that there are redeemable qualities in him and that he's just hanging out with the wrong crowd. But after finding this not to be the case, she allows him to face his punishment as well. We then see Sella go really dark, saying it was too bad. She really thought that there was hope for Brian, but he got what he deserved. She now believes that punishment is the key, as there are so many who refuse to change, and at least this way they can't harm innocent people. On the final page of the issue, we see Sella being approached by aggressive thugs, but she scares them. And that's it for the first half of this volume. The next part will be uploaded Sunday. If you want to continue, like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Talk to me in the comments, and I'll see you guys next time.